Hi everyone, Jason from Iron Fence Shop. Today I wanted to go over how to install our Stronghold Iron fence panels to give you an idea how everything goes together. Now if you haven't seen our video on marking your layout or setting your posts, you might want to go check that one out first. This video is going to assume that your posts have all been set and that you're ready to hang your fence panels. Now let's go ahead and check out the install basics for our Stronghold Iron fence panels. Before you jump into installing the fence, let's make sure you got the basic tools required. Here's a list of what you'll need. Measuring tape, a level, a quality drill or power driver, a cutting tool for metal, such as a hacksaw, sawzall, cutoff wheel, basically anything with a blade for metal, a ratchet and socket set, masking tape or a felt tip marker that will show up on black fence, metal file, center punch, hammer and rubber mallet. Now that you have your tools, let's go over the main components that we'll send in your order. There's really only 5 main components when it comes to our iron fence that we're going to send you. Using our sample pieces here, they are your post and post cap, your fence panel, your fence bracket, your self-tapping screw, and the install kit odds and ends that we send you at no charge to finalize the project. Now that you know the tools you need and we've got the materials we're going to do, let's go down to the shop for a demonstration on how this all goes together. First thing is to grab your fence panel brackets and slide them onto the fence panel rails in preparation for mounting it to the post. Now there's 2 types of iron fence brackets. The first is a standard bracket. This is going to be used in 99% of installations and likely be the only type of bracket we send with your order. The other type of bracket is an angle bracket. If you have an angled or curved section in your layout, we would provide these in addition to the standard brackets. They're wider at the base and the back here to allow for about 20 degrees of angling or curving as you go through the layout. Now once you have your proper brackets selected, simply slide them over the end of the rail as such with a mounting tab pointing down at the ground. With your brackets slid on, the next step is to determine where you want to mount the fence panel on the post height-wise. The norm is typically 2 to 3 inches off the ground. The reason for this gap is that if you are installing over grass, you want to leave enough space underneath to get your weed trimmer line underneath without raking it across the pickets and damaging the finish over the years. A little installation tip here is to find a piece of scrap wood the same height as the gap you want and place it under the fence panel. This makes things easier so you aren't trying to balance the fence panel while installing it to the posts. With your height chosen, we're going to install the top bracket on each side of the fence panel first. To secure the bracket to the post, we utilize a self-tapping screw. If you look closely at the self-tapping screw, you'll see the head of it is a tiny drill bit. It will drill its own hole into the post and then thread itself in. No pilot holes in the post are necessary. Next, slide your top bracket against the post. Another little installation tip here is to use a center punch before you start drilling your self-tapping screw in. Simply place the center punch where your screw is going to go and give it a solid tap with your hammer. This will indent the post surface and give your self-tapping screw a place to bite into. With the self-tapping screw in the driver, place it through the mounting hole in your bracket. Run the drill until you feel the screw punch through the wall of the post. When you feel that, slow down the drill and leave it slightly loose. You don't want to fully tighten the screw just yet. Do this for your top 2 rail brackets on each end of the fence panel. With the fence panel being suspended by the top brackets, go grab your level. You need to set the panel plumb before drilling your lower brackets. Place your level against one of the pickets and position the fence so that it reads plumb on your level. Once you have the panel plumb, slide your lower brackets out and drill the self-tapping screws the same ways we did on the top ones. Once you have all the brackets loosely connected, go back with your ratchet and socket to snug up the screws. Again, they only need to be snug. You don't want to over-tighten them and strip out the threads. The majority of your fence panels will not need trimmed. However, most installations call for an iron fence panel in a corner, end of a run, or near a gate that will need to be shorter than 8 feet wide. If that's the case, then you'll need to trim the width of the fence panel. We first want to measure out the fence panel to determine where we will need to make the cut. Be sure that you leave enough rail sticking out past the end of your picket at the cut to fit a bracket on. Ideally, you want to try and make your cut as close to the picket on the side you are moving to preserve the air gap space in between pieces. Mark all the horizontal rails where the cut will be made with masking tape or a marker. Using your cutting tool of choice, make the cut through each rail. While not as fast as a power tool, I prefer a good old hacksaw for a straighter and more controlled cut. After cutting off the unneeded portion, take your metal file and clean up any burrs or rough edge left of the cut. Lastly, touch up the cut with paint to prevent rusting. A little trick of the trade is to spray some of your touch-up paint in the can's cap and use a small brush or Q-tip to apply the paint to the surface. And there you have it. That's the basics of installing our Stronghold Iron fence panels to the posts. Now don't be discouraged if that first 1 or 2 go on a heck of a lot slower than you thought they were going to. Once you get a rhythm down and get a couple under your belt, you're going to notice them going on a lot faster than they were when you started. If you ordered one of our matching gates, we didn't forget about you. Due to the different types of hinge and latch hardware, it'd be difficult to cover that in the same video. However, if you do go in our video section, you will find some videos on our different installation of hinges, latches, options you have within there. You can also go inside of your full installation instructions, and we'll have all your measurements and options in there how to install them too. We even have a gates-only installation guide on the Knowledge Center that walks you through just the gate portion alone. If you still have any installation questions after watching our video here, be sure to go into the Knowledge Center on our website and check out the full installation instructions that we put together. They're very DIY friendly, have lots of pictures, measurement calculators, everything you can need inside there. If you still have questions after reviewing that and the videos, feel free to give us a call at 800-261-2729 or shoot us an email at sales@ironfenceshop.com. We look forward to hearing from you, and we're here to help with your installation.